What is up, wizard folk? It is Dev from the place, along with our wonderful, special, and visually appealing guest,
I
PowrDragn.
am now because I just got shaved and everything. I look good for the show today.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, you're very fresh. Let's hope you're fresh enough to talk about some of the most overrated cards in
Oh,
one of
I
my
am.
favorite sets in a while.
I'm gonna get us yelled at this time. I'm pretty sure because I have some that are gonna be on my list that some people are in love with. I'm pretty sure. So stick around, y'all. That's your foreshadowing to help the algorithm because there's gonna be some things. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Foreshadowing is a literary device. I gotta say that I feel like the sentiment this time around generally is that this is not as strong of a set competitively as some people would have liked. And so it was kind of tougher to me to find straight up overrated stuff. But I think I was able to find 5 things plus one thing on my bench in case we, concur on an issue here.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it's so much that cards are underpowered. I think it's kind of how we saw with Edge of Eternities, right? Where the mechanics were so different, people don't know how to judge them, right? Because
Mm.
there were a lot of cards in Age of Eternity that turned out to be really good
Oh, yeah.
that people overlooked because they're like, oh, this just puts counters on things. Yeah, it turns out it might be the best card in the set. Talking about Ouroboros, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
right. So there's some silly things like that throughout Lorwyn Eclipsed that I just think we don't know what to do with yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it like that. I think we completely 100% agree on this. I think this set has more, I guess, for lack of a better word, like sleepers and such than we've seen in a while. So, despite the fact there are some overhyped cards, I think people are overlooking a lot. So, make sure when you get done with this video that you go over to PowrDragn's channel where we'll be talking about the most underrated cards in this set. And of course, I've got the top 10 sleepers in the set coming out soon. So, if you want to look at underrated stuff, just go to our 2 channels in the next couple of days. We'll talk about it. But for now, we're going to put our spike hats on and talk about what we think are some overrated pieces from this set. So, with that in mind, my wonderful esteemed guest, you first. What you got?
All right, I'm coming in hot. I told y'all people are going to be mad at me, but I'm going with High Perfect Morcant.
Ooh, okay.
I told you people are going to be mad, but this is a 4 mana, so it's 2 black green for a 4/4 elf noble. And when that or another elf you control enters, each opponent blights 1, which is put a -1/-1 counter on a creature they control. And then you can tap 3 untap elves you control to proliferate, but you can only do this as a sorcery. So I think people saw this and went, oh, more elves, which people love elves. I get it. I even have an elf commander deck. Totally understand. But there's 2 things with this card. First is, I don't think we know how good or important blight counters are going to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we see a lot of stuff that even says put blight counters on your own things, or things that start with so many -1/-1s or whatever. Not so many right now that really care about putting them on your opponent's stuff. So unless, which possibly, but if we build a deck where everything is putting -1/-1s on opponent's stuff, then like maybe this is cool. But then it's also not going to do anything against a non-creature deck or mid-range deck that's making tokens or whatever, right? Because they're just not going to care. So that's the first problem. The second is, are you going to want to tap 3 elves on your turn? Because it has to be done as a sorcery.
On your turn, right.
Yeah, and be shields down or whatever else. Or are the elf decks going to move from being so aggressive? Because we got another elf that pumps elves, right? So we're going to move from being so aggressive to being a mid-rangey kind of tap, make mana, put counters on stuff sort of elf deck. The answer is maybe, right? Like that might be the case. Don't really know, but for as much hype as this card has gotten, it was like damn near $20 at one point. I think it still goes for like 15 right now in pre-orders.
Yeah.
Like I don't see it staying that high. I'm not buying into the hype.
Yeah. Yeah. Pre-release prices and all that, which just, we always do this disclaimer, right? It's pre-release prices are obviously going to be much higher than when the set comes out. For the most part, there's always a couple things that go up. But as far as Morcant, I think that Commander is basically the only thing driving the price of this card. I don't think that people buy this as a competitive card, but just in case they do, first of all, I don't think there's an elves deck per se in standard. So maybe I'm wrong now that we got Lorwyn right, but I think that if you're trying to just like get to Craterhoof as quickly as possible, Badger Mole Cub builds do that better than elves builds. Second of all, if you are building elves in standard, I don't think this is the way to go. Just a weird, like wonky -1/-1 counter theme. And I guess I had a third point, but I think I've made enough points. It's just, I don't think that this is a standard card like whatsoever. But
I would also argue
this is my third point. Go ahead.
No, you got a third point. Don't lose it.
My third point, was Hapatra. This reminds me of
Mm.
Hapatra Vizier of Poisons when that card came out in standard, and it was only a 2 mana card, right? It's 2-drop efficient creature, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to make a bunch of snakes and kill my opponent's creatures with -1/-1 counters and blah blah blah," and that never materialized. And when I think this card is worse than Hapatra competitively by
Yeah.
a mile, so I just again I don't see it happening. I apologize. You go ahead.
No, I don't. What I was saying is, I don't even think this is necessarily that big for Commander. Like, I was
Yeah.
thinking about the black green decks. How many of them are going to care about putting -1/-1s on your opponent's stuff? Right?
At
Like,
least
there's
you have
just
more opponents in Commander. Like you'll have a target for the -1/-1s, more likely.
sure, but
But
like, is that what you're going to be? And I only play lower to mid tier Commander. I'm not even talking about competitive
same,
stuff.
same,
Like,
yeah.
I was thinking about my decks and going like, I'm not even sure I want to be taking turns off to do that. Like, I play it, y'all put some counters on your stuff. I proliferate, so you just pick your 1/1 to die or your 2/2 to die. Like, I
Yeah.
don't like, I guess. But like, I'm just not excited. There's just better elves to play. Even in this set, there's better elves to
Better
play.
elves. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that it's complicated, man. As far as Commander goes, I think that this is a really cool looking build around and it's shiny and new and it's a way to build elves we haven't had access to before. And so people are going to be like, ooh, neat. It's new, right? Like the new wins in Commander every time. I think this is one of those cards that might be one of those, like you check EDH rec and it's one of the more popular commanders over the last couple of months. And that lasts maybe 4 months and then it starts to drop out.
Yep.
That's kind of my prediction for this card's, ultimate timeline here. But I will see. I think it's a neat way to build elves, and it will always be for the rest of our lives. It'll always be a way you can build black green elves. So I don't know that it'll ever be, a $2 card. I imagine this could be $5-6, kind of settle
Sure.
around there.
But
so
yeah,
I do like her, but yeah.
Just the number of people I saw excited and hyping this and threads on socials, I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah, I'll say this in your defense too. When I first saw the card, I was like, "Ooh!" But now, the more I read the card, the more I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I ultimately I agree with you on that one, though.
All right. So what do you got for your first one here?
All right, my I guess number 5 here is called Abigale, Eloquent First Year. This is 2 Orzhov hybrids. Yeah, there's a reason it's my number 5. It's 2 Orzhov hybrids, 2 total mana for a 1/1 legendary bird bard, which is fun to say, a bird bard with flying, first strike, and lifelink. When she enters, up to 1 other target creature loses all abilities. Put a flying counter, a first strike counter, and a lifelink counter on that creature. So right now this is going for about $14. Which again, pre-order prices and whatnot. But there's 2 ways to use this. Obviously, it's a little healer's hawk or whatever that you can also turn one of your own creatures into a healer's hawk. Like your 4/4 is now a flying first strike lifelink. That's kind of fun. Or you can neuter one of your opponent's creatures with it, but now they have a flying first strike lifelinker. But the thing is, they don't have an Ouroboros. So there are a couple of ways to use this card, but I don't think any way you could use it is particularly competitively viable in standard, or at least the environment we find ourselves in. I'm not sure what you actually target with this if you're targeting your opponent's creatures. I think if you're targeting your own creatures, you might have better options. That said, on curve, you're just targeting your 1-drop. And I don't know. I don't know how good it's actually going to be. I think in the 2-drop slot, I can think of like 4 things in black-white decks I'd rather play than this card for the most part.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what the best thing is to do with this, right? And there's been so
What do
many
you hit
people
with it?
that have tried to come up with stuff. I think I saw people talking about like that 13/13 equipment, if you can get it down. But it's like, yeah, but you still have to turn it into a creature first so that you can target it to have it be a thing. So that doesn't really work.
I guess Moonshadow works from this set. It's like a 1 mana 7/7 comes into play with a bunch of -1/-1 counters.
But then you just have a thing with a bunch of -1/-1 counters on it.
Yeah, but it's got 3 keywords and it's going to get larger as the game goes on. Cecil is probably the best one drop.
The ability to remove the counters.
That's true. That's
what I'm saying. You just have a body that has a bunch of counters on it now.
You got me on that one. You literally have a healer's hawk at that point.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm sure there's something you can do with it, but the best thing the card does isn't by itself, right? Now it's not bad by itself because it comes with 3 keywords and it, on a 2 mana thing, and you can play it in either color. So it's like awesome.
It's like you're paying an extra mana to put first strike on a healer's hawk, on like base rate on this card, and I don't love that. Again, Cecil is the best 1-drop to play with this card Because like you Cecil turn 1 and you make it into a 2/1 flying first strike, lifelink, death touch. Well, it doesn't have death touch anymore, but that's not a bad line. I just don't think it's good enough, like
Yeah,
currently.
and I do think there's a world where you can play it in some other bird-based deck or
Yeah,
flyer-based deck, and all
yeah,
right, cool. I'm going to take your ability away, but you also gain these 2 other things, right? And that's probably fine because there are some points where like your creature's done what it's going to do. Now we just need to have first strike or something or lifelink to not
that's
die
true.
or whatever. So like I think it's playable. I don't think it's hype worthy like a lot of people because there's been a million discussions about, well, what if you put the counters on this thing and what if you do this?
Yep.
But I think it's playable. But again, I think it is overrated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just it. As I've seen it again, I got to agree with the way you put it there. I've seen a lot of discussion about what exactly you do with this card. And I kind of think at the end of the day, it's wasted mental energy.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, again, the reason this is my number 5 that I forgot to talk about is because I think that of all the cards that I'm going to bring up today, this one has like the greatest chance of being something.
Sure.
But ultimately, I'm just not even on the fence. I'm on the side of like, So, with all that said, what's up next for you?
All right. This one's probably the least of the cards on my list.
Okay.
So I'm going to get this out of the way. But I don't even think this should be more than like a $2 card. And Mirror Mind Crown. I think
Oh
this
yeah,
is
it's a commander pick again.
this is
It's a
another
commander
one of those
beast.
cards, though, where everybody's like, oh, but I could copy this and I can do this. And I'm like, we've seen versions of this card before. We have
Yeah.
a million things that either copy a thing or when you cast the stuff, make this thing or do this or do that. Like, and those don't hardly get played. So it's like,
well, refresh my memory. Read this card to me. I know it's on screen if you're watching at home, but I want to remember exactly.
So Mirror Mind Crown is a 4 mana equipment. It's an artifact, obviously. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, the first time you would create 1 or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of this equipment or this equipped creature.
That is exciting text.
Agreed.
How much does it cost to equip?
2. That's what I'm saying. It's got the right numbers.
Yeah.
But the reality is, with like, even look at better equipment, right? We had you get to play it for the Leyline Axe, right? Super exciting. We don't even play that anymore, right? We talked about how exciting it was going to be to do stuff with the Aether Spark. Didn't do anything, right? Like all these things that are these equipment that do these cool things that are game-winning things on their own, effectively, like they just don't get played. Like I don't see this either because ultimately it does not. It doesn't even do anything by itself. It needs 2 other things. It needs a thing that makes a token and then something to let you make the tokens.
Well, I think that half the time the point is that they're supposed to be the same thing. Like, let's say I put it on a Voice of Victory. And then when I swing with the Voice of Victory, I get to make 2 Voices of Victory, which isn't like amazing.
But it doesn't do anything. You just make 2 1/3s because they trigger when they attack. So it's like, what are we even copying?
Yeah, and that's just one example.
Yeah.
I think that this card does work well with Voice of Victory in like a 3-card combo where, I think that first of all, there are multiple ways in Standard. And I just want to make it clear I am not disagreeing with you. I think this card is trash.
Absolutely.
And competitive.
We got to explore the options. Right?
That's just it, is I think that the reason why people are, because I have seen some people talking about this in Standard for what it's worth. I think the reason people are doing that is because when you see a card like this, you do have to explore all the options because it's stuff like this that'll take you by surprise, being some weird combo deck that wins the game in 1 turn. There are things in Standard that can auto-equip equipments the turn they come into play without having to pay any mana or anything. And there are things that make tokens at no real cost. Like this turns Elspeth Stormslayer into a murderer. And again, Voice of Victory, right? If you have Voice of Victory attacking and this is on something with an ETB trigger, then you're having a really good time. So it's a lot of setup. And I don't think we have the time to do those setups in Standard, but like you never know when the format will be conducive to something insane like that.
Okay, so, hear me out on this. We have a card that came out that does this repeatedly by itself in Imposter Syndrome.
6 mana. I mean, I guess they're both 6 mana, aren't they?
When of sorts, yeah, over a couple turns or 1 time or whatever. But that's just easier to play, and it doesn't get played.
Yeah,
it's just like, I'd love to be wrong on this one. Don't be wrong, because like if I'm wrong, whatever it's in is going to be fun as hell to play.
It'd be so wacky, yeah.
So I'm totally in. But even when I'm just experimenting and coming up with ideas, because I like playing token decks anyway. I'm just like, I'll make a video or 2 with it just to use it, but I'm not expecting it to be a banger.
I wouldn't either.
All right. I think that brings us to your number 4.
4, I believe so. I think we're on the right track here. My number 4 is could have been my number 1, man. I just do not get the hype around this card. And to be clear, before I say the name of it, this is kind of a commander overrated card for me.
Okay.
This is Morningtide's Light here. One of the cards
Mm.
that we saw earliest on in the set. This is 4 mana, 3 and a white for a sorcery. Exile any number of target creatures. At the beginning of the next end step, return those cards to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. Until your next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Exile Morningtide's Light when it resolves. So this card is still close to $25. And again, it was one of the first cards we saw. Usually that's not the story these cards tell, right? We see a card in early previews and it actually tends to trend downwards in price more than the other newer cards. This has not followed that line, which is really weird. What is everyone seeing that I'm not seeing? Like, I get that you get to blink some of your guys, some of their guys, whatever it is. And I get that you don't die next turn to like non-mill, basically. But you remember Stasis Coffin?
Yeah.
You know that card? That card ever see any play whatsoever? Ever?
No.
Anywhere? No.
No.
It basically also protects you for a turn from dying. So there's that. And as far as I think the blink mode is the cool mode. Like it's
Sure.
a useful mode, and it's probably useful in Commander. But again, this is a Commander stinker to me. Like this is not a hit. This is a miss as far as I'm concerned. I think that even in Commander, unless you're playing specifically Pillow Fort, Turbo Fog, Group Hug, all these decks that nobody actually plays, then it's probably like, what do you actually do? Where does this card go? I don't think it goes anywhere. And especially we get to standard, like it's a 4 mana fog. Get out of here. What are you doing? No. So how do you feel? Am I missing something with this?
I think it's playable. Also think it's overhyped, right? I'm in the camp.
There's a few cards like that in the set.
I could see a world where if you figure out whatever it is we're going to do with -1/-1 counters, you could reset your board to get more -1/-1 counters.
Yeah.
Right? Like stuff like that. Or like you're saying, just enter the battlefield triggers could be very good. Also, not to be underestimated, if we are in a world of aggro creature decks, like blinking everything out for a turn so I can get a big attack in, and then I don't have to worry about your overstacked stuff with Ouroboros attacking me because I'm not going to take damage till my next turn.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
But is it Time Walk? Like I don't think
it's Time Walk because I still get to cast spells.
Right.
Yeah.
And all you do, let's say you play this on turn 4 in order to not die to aggro on turn 4, right? What did you actually accomplish? Like when it comes around to your next turn and you untap and draw your card, like what did you really like do? You drew an extra card, I guess you another look at the sweeper or something like that.
No, again. If +1/+1 or -1/-1 counters are a big deal, you reset their board.
That's true,
So like you turn everything back around, that all those Ouroboros counters go away, all those -1/-1 counters come back, whatever it is that they were setting up, right? So it does have that value as well. Now, I do think in Commander it will be more popular.
Yeah.
Just
ultimately I agree.
Yeah, and it's I don't even think it's target, but it's just any number of creatures. So you can just get anything you want, right? So it could be everything that's not mine, so I could blast a couple of y'all, and then I'm good for a turn. Like y'all have to fight it out, right?
I think that's mostly what it's going to be used for in Commander is actually to get attacks in, rather than to survive attacks.
I can see that.
So I think that is how it breaks the game, or how it's trying to break the game. Is like you get a free attack step, and nobody else gets to hit you. Which is breaking parity in an interesting way. But ultimately, I just feel like I've been saying this a lot lately. The more I like play and build for Commander, the more I realize you can't just say every card's playable in Commander. Like you have around, after your lands go in the deck, you have around 60 or 65 slots to fill. That's actually not that many slots, man. Like, again, outside of specifically like I'm playing a million prison effects in my deck and ensnaring bridge and stuff. Like, I just don't know what this really.
Oh, dude, I have a whole rant because I think too many people just look at a card and go like, "Oh, they're just building for a commander in this set," and it's like, no, like they're just making magic cards. Technically, everything's a commander card.
Commander card, right? Exactly.
But because you don't know what to do with it, or because it's not, I don't know, a tier 1 standard card, doesn't automatically make it a commander card. There's a bunch of cards that people go like, "Oh, this is just for commander." I'm like, cool. How many times do you see it on commander tables?
Hmm.
Zero. All right, cool. So it's just a magic card nobody's playing. It doesn't mean it's for commander. Let's be real.
Right.
Like, stop the rhetoric. It's stupid.
And let's be fair, there's a lot of cards that, people when they first see them will be like, "Oh, this is made for commander." And then it like does good stuff in standard.
Yeah.
And then they'll try to rewrite history and be like, "Oh, this is why you shouldn't design cards for commanders because they're broken in standard." And it's like, are you sure they didn't just design it for standard?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? Or maybe you made the wrong call to begin with, but that couldn't be it. But with all that said, are we ready for your number 3?
Yeah, why not? This is the one that's gonna set everybody off, but I'm just gonna do it because that's who I am. But Moonshadow.
Oh yeah.
I
Ouch.
I am not on the Moonshadow train. I'll tell you. For 1 black mana, you get a 7/7, kind of. That's an elemental. It has menace. It enters with 6 -1/-1 counters, so you really get a 1/1. And then whenever one or more permanent cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, while this creature has counters on it, you remove a counter. Man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, I want it to be good because I feel like, again, the things we could do with this would be so busted if we hit the magic Christmas land everybody wants. I'm just not seeing the magic Christmas land because it's so much setup to get what I want out of it. I think that's my problem.
How many
Every list I've seen so far that somebody's given me, or at least right now, kind of like theorized, I'm just like, I don't know how much better that is than what we're doing right now. Like,
how good does this seem with a turn 2 Overlord of the Bale Merc?
it doesn't. It only removes one counter.
I mean, is it whenever one or more?
Yes.
Mm,
So you only remove
that
one. So now you have
does
a 2/2.
that does quite hurt a
If
bit,
if
I
it
would
was every
say.
time a creature went to your grave for each creature
Yeah.
or whatever, then great. Then it would be outstanding. But this feels like it just takes so much extra work.
Is it creatures
No, it
specifically?
says one or more permanent.
Okay,
But
god, that would have
but
been really bad,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, it's just like if it was even for each creature, I would like it more. Because then I have a chance to remove more counters in a turn.
Usually I'm pretty good at seeing this phrase, but I don't think I've ever noticed the phrase "or more"
Yep.
on this card. So that does hurt.
And that's
It
what I'm
hurts a
saying. Like,
lot.
don't be wrong. I think there's opportunity for this card, but I see people saying, "Oh, you could play it in like the raise the pass decks." And I'm like, why though? Like, you get a 1/1 that then you can sacrifice some stuff to make it like a 2/2 or a 3/3.
Well,
Like,
no, I think it's because in the Raise the Past deck, like let's say you get this off Raise the Past, and you also get like 3 other creatures and a Snarling Gorehound. If you do that, you can just surveil like 6 things into your yard and make it a 7/7 immediately.
but if this was also
So
any of the other creatures that already exist in the raise the pass deck, they're just going to kill you when they start sacrificing
that's fair. Like if
things.
this is Starscape Cleric or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
what I'm
just yeah,
saying. Like, what?
I agree. I agree with
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's been my argument. Is like everything people are presenting. I'm like, but this isn't any better than what you can already do in the deck you're putting it in.
Well, I think it's because with Raise the Past specifically, let me just defend that point one more
Sure.
time. Raise the Past is a pretty one note deck. You know what I mean? Like it can attack and block and stuff like that. It really wants to block. It wants to put its guys in the yard, but it doesn't have a whole lot of actual like angles besides raise the pass combo win. And I think that like you could argue that Moonshadow gives it a beatdown plan that it didn't necessarily have. And I kind of like that. But in that deck, I think Gorehound's like one of the only things that actually triggers this card.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you don't get
So
Gorehound or the guy that lets you surveil,
right, yeah.
then you just have a
Um
1/1 sitting next to other 1/1s
yeah.
that isn't doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Or you get to
But I will say
activate
it's,
one of them
if
one time, right?
your Hinterland Sanctifier dies and it gets bigger or something. You know what I mean? And like that's fine. Like you don't have to just mill, you don't have to just discard. I think that's why everyone's so freaked about this card is because like if you mill, it grows. If you discard a card, it grows. If you lose a creature in combat, it grows. If you lose another creature to removal, it grows. Like I feel like a lot of game actions make it grow. And like that could be dangerous. Like maybe.
Sure, but I'm just like, if I'm playing, because this is what I was thinking. If you're playing the mono black aggro deck, right? That's playing like the haste dude from Edge of Eternities, and
Yeah,
like,
timeline color.
yeah, like just going at it. How often do I really send stuff to the graveyard?
Well, there's kind of an aristocratsian build of that deck. You don't see it every day though. I
That's
mean,
what I'm
like,
saying. Like, are we
yeah.
just gonna play the lesser version just to justify this card?
I guess it's just like an acknowledgement that like your creatures will go to the graveyard. Um, it works really well with fetch lands, I guess. We don't have like a million of them in standard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those decks don't even want to play the fetch lands.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just throwing noodles at the wall, seeing what sticks. I think there's definitely a reason people like the card. Maybe I'm justifying it to myself because this is still like one of my top 3 cards in the set.
Oh, I don't get me wrong. I will still try it and try to do something with it. But even if it is playable, we're talking about maybe one deck where it's good.
Like, so it comes into play with 6 counters, right?
Yeah.
So is a 1 mana 4/4 good?
Theoretically, yes.
Is it good if it takes till turn 4? Ooh, let me put it this way.
Okay.
Is there any other 1-drop in the format better than this on turn 4? Maybe. I mean, I'm not saying there's not.
I'd have to go back and think about it. That's a tough question.
I'm putting you on the spot there. Like, I'm sorry.
I think it would depend on the deck. Let's put it that way. It depends on the deck.
Yeah. It might, oddly enough, it might be Cecil, which it competes with.
But also, let me point out that we've known about this card for a few days now. It's still over $30 in a lot of places where I can find it for sale.
Oh, yeah, it's the most expensive card in the set,
which is
tied for most expensive.
Insane to me, right? Like, there's no way it's that good. Like, you can't convince me that because again, and we'll talk about on the what we missed video because I have a card on there that did hold its value, but but to be fair, that card has value and it is that good, right? Like, it shows up in a bunch of decks or whatever. For this to be the most expensive card, pre-order or not, I get it that the prices are elevated.
Right.
Like, that means people believe this is going to be in a lot of decks. That this is Shieldred level, right? Like, of pricing. Like, this is not going to be played as much as Shieldred. It's just not.
Ooh, I don't know if it's going to be played.
Remember how much Shieldred got played now?
I know, and Shieldred was played in Modern and Commander and whatnot.
Shieldred was 3 or 4x index too.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you don't play one of these. I feel like if you play this, you play 4.
Sure.
Because your whole game plan's built around it. I will say that I think one of the things pushing price for this card is that not just Standard and Pioneer players are excited. I think like Legacy players are excited about this card, which will push the price a little bit.
But what are we doing with it in Legacy?
Everything. I mean, we got 1 million fetch lands in Legacy, 1,000 ways to mill really efficiently. It's like a bunch of ways to discard cards. We have discard outlets that allow us to discard a card, resolve, discard a card, resolve, discard a card, resolve.
I mean,
like, it's it could work. It could.
I just also feel that Legacy has efficient answers to where I don't know if I want to spend 4 turns building up a 3/3.
Like Ragavan.
Yeah.
There's 1-drops C play in Legacy. I mean, modern, like new 1-drop C play in Legacy a lot.
Sure.
And I agree. Like Ragavan's not new, but like Ragavan's an example of a card you could look at and be like, the Lightning Bolt exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Ragavan would have been good in literally every format.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 1-man dude. It can come in with haste. It generates treasure, blah, blah. It's just a good card. Yeah.
That's true. Ragavan generates value, whereas like this isn't actually generating value, but like neither does Death Shadow. And I said Death Shadow. Sure. It took us 8 minutes talking about this card to get to Death Shadow. That's obviously like what it's supposed to remind you of. And I think that in some ways it is on par with Shadow. But time will tell on that one. Time will tell. We'll be sitting here in 2 months talking about it again.
I think there will be at least one deck with it. But I don't think it will be good enough that it's going to be 3 different decks near the top of the standings that are playing it. I just don't think it's that good.
It's like my one gripe when Standard with this card is that I think that the decks that want it the most, it doesn't necessarily elevate by itself. Like Insidious Roots has been tier C for a while now. It's chomping at the bit. This looks perfect for Insidious Roots. I don't think it makes that deck any better.
I mean, I guess, but even Insidious Roots, okay, I turn 1 Roots. I turn 2, I don't know, mill some number of cards. So now I have a 2/2.
Yeah.
Turn 3, I mill more stuff and get a 3/3 and play like a 1/1. Right. Oh, and I'm not saying that to be facetious, but it's just like
you're right.
Every other card in those decks are like, oh, this mills and gets me mana, or this returns a thing, or this is literally just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, it has menace, but it's still just a guy,
I'll say like in the best case scenario where you go like Shadow on turn 1, Dredger's Insight turn 2, Dredger's Insight turn 3. Well, you go on turn 3, you go Moonshadow, Dredger's Insight. So you got 2 of them in play when you
Sure.
play Insight again. But then what do you have?
A
Couple of
3/3?
Insights and a 2/2 and a 3/3, right? It's
Yes,
you
that's
know,
like,
on
okay.
turn 3, is that really like that impressive, right? So we'll see. But I am outright scared of this card.
And then you've done all that work, and your opponent's just like, shoot the sheriff. You know, like whatever.
Yeah. On your 1-drop, though, like they in that case, they lost mana value killing your 1-drop. And so like you'll take that, right?
Sort of, but you got no value off that 1-drop. Right? Whereas
Removal
any of the other
spell,
ones you played would have generated you mana, would have milled more stuff to yard, would have done all these other things that the 1-drops do in these other decks, right?
But I do feel like if you play Cecil and they kill it, that sucks, but that's a removal spell gone.
Sure.
And that's true of a lot of 1-drops, you know, especially if they do play like 2 mana removal on it. I'm like, yes, I got a free 3-drop coming next turn. You know what I mean?
But Cecil also stonewalls your opponent sometimes because it just has death touch, and they're just like, well, now I can't attack. Whereas,
yeah, I've had whole teams of like Ouroboros squads not attack into me because of 1 Cecil, and like,
exactly,
this doesn't really do that.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's a tough one. It is. This will probably be the longest conversation we have on one card in this video.
Oh, sure.
That's because it's
for me,
it's a tough call.
The price is just ridiculous, even as a pre-order card.
Yeah,
the price is just too high, because to be that high, that to me says it's going to be in at least 3 relevant decks, and I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't think it's going to be in 3 relevant standard decks, but between standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, whatever. Maybe. But yeah, I just said yesterday on Twitter that like, can a card be the best card in a set and also overrated at the same time? And I think that a card can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's kind of an example of one of those. Like, you could make an argument it's the best card in the set, but I would still say it's overrated in that case.
Well, all right. What do you got? Since I've already upset everybody in the comments.
Okay. I would say let's bring the mood down, but I wonder if I will upset you with this one. You specifically with this one, because my next is a Spinerock Tyrant. This is 5 mana, 3 and 2 red for a 6/6 dragon with flying, and it also has Wither. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with a single target, you may copy it. If you do, those spells gain Wither. You may choose new targets for the copy, of course. This thing currently going for about $26, $27, something like that. 3rd or 4th most expensive card in the set.
Okay.
And it's another one that I think is mostly fueled by Commander, because that last line of text is very exciting. You just copy any spell you cast. Dope. That's sure. But altogether, I think that it's just like a big, expensive dragon that like you have to like wait to untap with to actually do anything. I see no competitive viability on this card whatsoever. That's me.
Interesting. I think it's playable. Again, I think it's overhyped. Don't get me wrong, but I don't even care that it has Wither. That's just all whatever. That's just flavor for the sake of being flavor.
Your 6/6 flyer really should kill the things that block it or whatever.
But being able to copy your instants and sorceries actually is relevant. Like that's a real thing. And we have enough fast mana that we are still occasionally seeing dragons pop up, which is interesting because there's Momo's dragons that have been out there, the red-white decks. We've seen some green ramp decks playing some dragons now. So those are all still very viable. I think the issue comes down to what else are you playing with it, right? Because what are the other spells that you're playing to accompany this card, right? Because there is some quirky stuff you could do. Let's say you wanted to play this in a ramp smuggler surprise deck. Then you get like double surprise after flip, search, put 4 or 5 guys into play and win, right? Like that's kind of interesting, right? Or just playing it like, I don't think mono red can get away with it. I think you're playing green or white with it is the issue. It's like, but
you trying to like ramp into it or something.
Yeah, but you play your dragon, you get lost 2 things the next turn and play something like, okay, that's possible. Now, do I think it's $25 good?
Yeah, right.
You know, like it's probably like $12 to $15 okay. But I don't see it carrying that price tag. Again, I think the Wither isn't I say that. We don't know how good -1/-1 counters or Blight's going to be or whatever.
Yeah, you might be getting synergy or whatever.
Yeah, but, if that's a thing, then cool, it could matter. Hell, there might even be a world where you want to target your own things to get -1/-1s for all I know.
Could be.
Like, I have no idea. If it is, then this card gains more value and I get it. But 5 mana for a 6/6 that also has the upside of copying stuff, that's actually pretty legit. And even now, some of the other 5-mana dragons, when they hit the board, sometimes still just win the game. You know?
That's just it. That was going to be one of the points I made, is that among 5-mana dragons in standard right now, an awful lot of them you have to untap with to do anything, right? Terror of the Peaks. Usually you have to wait a turn.
Sure.
Bone Horde Dracosaur. Actually, like low-key one of my favorite cards in standard, but you still have to usually wait a turn to get the value off of it, right? I just don't think that 5/5 or 5-mana guys that you have to wait a turn to untap with to get the value. And in this case, you have to have other things in your hand on like turn
Sure.
6 or turn 5 or whatever to actually, get the value in the first place. That seems pretty bad altogether. I guess the counter argument on my end, at least the things that I'm thinking, is that there are two places this could go. This could go in the pre-existing Jeskai Dragons deck because it is a dragon, but it competes with Shiko, and Shiko's just a better card. But still, this will help you get your, like Behold a Dragon for the dragon counter spell and all that stuff. Or it could go in some kind of deck that leverages firebending. Because if you
Also
play this
true.
on turn 5 and then attack and get some firebending, play a burst lightning, copy it, like that's dope. That's a good line. But I don't, again, I think that there are things
Actually,
keeping it out of both of those
you know
decks.
what? The Teamer Dragons deck, where you're playing the enchantment that deals 3 to everything and except dragons or whatever, has landfall,
Yeah, you
like
get a
makes
dragon when you
dragons.
landfall.
But also, a lot of your dragons also have the omen side, and
Yeah,
those all count
yeah,
as
yeah,
spells,
yeah.
right? So
Copy the omens.
yeah, so that
Also,
could be worthwhile.
copying, say, like a doppelgang or a devastating onslaught seems like kind of cute. There's
That's
that.
amusing, actually.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, in just the teamer deck that plays Doppelgang, it's really interesting to play this
Hmm.
because you ramp it into play and then copy it a million times, and the next thing you play, you copy like I don't know 20 times, like however many
Well,
copies of this you have.
you don't even have to. You could just do it because, like, you already have 5 mana. You get to 6. You can really, even if you just doppelgang for 1 or 2, that's still going to be fine because you're copying
Right,
it,
right,
right?
exactly.
So, like, yeah, I could be
So
talked into that. Yeah, it's not
yeah, I guess
terrible.
I could. I guess I
Yeah,
obviously could be too. I'm doing it right now.
yeah, I'm here for it.
Huh. Well, I will say
Again,
that it
I think it's overhyped because I think $25 is a bit much for
ridiculous.
this,
Yeah.
but yeah, playable at least.
Playable. I will say, like we've just been talking about like Teamer and stuff like that. If this does have a spot, I think it'll be in like a weird place like that where it does something zany on the top end. But can also be the cool thing about this is in that kind of Teamer combo-y over the top mid range engine thing. It's still just a beatdown card. Like it'll kill you if you if you can't
Yeah,
answer it. So
and
there's that too.
And
But
to me,
yeah,
that's the difference on a lot of dragons of like it's okay to have to untap with them for them to do something because they also fly, right? Like so if
yeah,
they do survive, like they're just getting in for 5 or 6 plus whatever it is that they do, right? It's the whole now you have the exception, which is like Dragon Hawk, because if you have anything else on the board, it just deals extra damage
right.
and it gets you cards or whatever. But realistically, I don't have too big of a problem. I have a problem with it on ground creatures because it's just okay, even if I get to attack, now what? You know what I mean? Like I need to be doing something. Mhm.
It's like the one thing, and this is kind of a wonky. This is going deep a little bit. But one thing that I like about it above things like Dracosaur and Terror of the Peaks and other 5-mana dragons is that it's an actual 6/6, which means
Yeah.
it can kill a Quantum Riddler in combat. It can stand up to an Archfiend, or not an Archfiend, but like the demon token
Yeah.
from Unholy Annex, right? I think that a 6/6 is like that body has proven multiple times in the last like 8 months to be like really important. Like a 6/6 is many times better than a 5/5. So it's got that going for it. But again, end of the day, like standard specifically, I don't think so. So, you get a controversial one, I get a controversial one. But now I want to know what your number, whatever it is, 2, 1, 3. I don't
2.
know.
This is an actual reprint that made my list,
Okay.
but Bloom Tender.
I knew it was going to be, as soon as you said reprint, I knew it was going to be Bloom Tender.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? I think, and this is me personally, that Bloom Tender is expensive because of its age, right? Not necessarily expensive because it's supremely played a bunch. Like even in Commander, where you can play green with multiple colors, like some people don't play Bloom Tender. Now, they may not have been playing it because of the price, because it was maybe $15-$20 hard for them to get one or whatever. But it's not you're not making or breaking anything with a Bloom Tender was my thing, right? And I will say we're going to be in a world where there's more hybrid mana, so that changes things a bit, right? Like you could play technically 4-color mono green with a bunch of hybrid things, right?
I was thinking this
Like,
is along the same lines.
so
Yeah.
like that's very possible to make this playable. But we also have so many damn good mana creatures right now, right? Do we need a 2 mana 1/1 that hopefully survives and produces us 2 or 3 mana, right? Because we already have the Badger Mole Cub, right?
Right.
Which also gets us a creature, even if it dies, right? We have stuff like the Paleontologist that we can use to remove stuff from graveyards and still produces any color, right? So I just don't know what deck needs this, and in the same situation where we would have enough multicolors to take advantage of it. Because let's say I play tap land turn 1, I play this on 2, which is pretty reasonable normal play. I'm not blocking anything, likely going to die to removal, but let's say it doesn't. What am I playing on turn 3 to get me more mana than I would generally have otherwise? Right? That's sort of where I'm at right now. And it remains to be seen what standard's going to look like. But I do think this is another card that people got excited about it because it's Bloom Tender. It's going to be in standard again. But realistically, I think when all said and done, this is going to probably end up being like a $5 to $8 card.
That'd be nice. I mean, isn't Bloom Tender, wasn't it already like $10
Oh, it
before
was
the
more than that.
reprint?
There's, like I said, $15 to $20
Yeah,
for a
okay. I
lot of the
was
old versions.
my initial thought was 15. Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say I've seen this on Commander tables IRL, and it seems like anytime I'm looking at a green deck on EDA track that has more than one color in it, Bloom Tender is one of the more played cards. So I will say
sure.
this is a Commander card.
Yeah,
However, I think there are plenty of setups where you tap this for 3 on turn 3. Uh that might make it good enough. It's one of those, just like Badger Mole. It's interesting you bring up Badger Mole. I think that Mole is probably the better card, and they go in different decks.
sure.
And that might end up being the thing that kills Bloom Tender, is
Or
that
maybe
they
you
do
play
go
them
in different
together. I
decks.
don't know.
That's the thing, is you could, but I think that at that point your Badger Mole deck probably has to be like 3 colors. But even if you're just Golgari Badger Mole and Bloom Tender taps for 2, that could still be okay, because Bloom Tender's technically tapping for 3 if you have a cub out, and like that's fine. I'm just, I'm kind of with you, because I keep looking at Bloom Tender like, what do we actually like do with this? But you can't ever count out a guy that taps for up to 5 mana.
Yeah. And again,
You really can't.
to be clear, I'm not saying it's unplayable. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's bad. It will still show up in deck lists, but I think it's not going to meet the hype that everybody expects. This is like when we got oh crap, what's the creature you play a land and return from the graveyard?
Blood gas.
Yeah, like
No.
remember the hype on Blood Gas? It was the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody remembered what we did with Blood Gas, and it's like it still shows up from time to time, and it's good where it shows up, but it's not the end all be all. And I sort of feel the same thing here. It'll still be good,
Yeah.
it'll still be played, but I don't know if it's going to be $20 worth of good.
That's fair. Yeah, if anything, I think Commander players will be happy if the card doesn't see play in standard. It brings this version down to like $8 or whatever. But again, ultimately, it's just one of those cards that, like, there's a spiky part of me that's like, dies to removal, terrible, tiny PT. I hate it, but like, you gotta respect Bloom Tender, man. Like,
Yeah,
there
for sure.
there are ways for them to tap for literally 5 mana the next turn if they play a permanent that's somehow all colors. Like, it's just
Yeah, also, I just want to say that too. Every person who says, well, but it dies to removal. Yeah, every creature does. Shut up.
literally every creature, right?
Like, we were just saying not play creatures then, unless they're like
Right.
5/5s or something. Like, come on.
Yeah, unless they're
Let's be
past a
real.
certain toughness.
Yeah,
That's just it. There's dies to removal, and then there's the more convincing argument of dies to everything.
sure.
And this does die to everything, and it doesn't attack or block well. You don't want to chump with it or whatever. But I just think there are too many situations where turn 3 it makes 4 mana, and it's just, come on, man. It's a good. I can't kick it. I can't kick Bloom Tender. I can't.
I understand.
Ultimately, I think you're right. Ultimately, I think that there's a huge part of me that's like, this card sees no play, dude. But like, I just, I want to hedge my bets
I
on
mean,
that.
there is a
It's
world
so
when
powerful.
you could go like hybrid something turn 1,
Yeah.
play Bloom Tender on 2, and then have like, I don't know, 5-6 mana on turn 3, like maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But also we could still Llanowar Elf turn 1, Badger Mole Cub turn 2, and still have
yeah,
5, 6 mana,
exactly.
7
We
mana,
we
whatever.
already we
Yeah.
already live in a world where like 7 mana on turn 3 is possible. So like, how special is Bloom Tender in a
Yeah.
world like that? Yeah. Like I said, I really want to like wholeheartedly agree. There's just something holding me back with Bloom Tender,
Oh,
but
no.
and like you said, you didn't say it's unplayable. I
Yeah.
hear you on that. Yeah.
I'm definitely
I
going to
hear
be
you.
playing it. Like, I'll tell you, I will find some spots to play the card. But all right, this
Well,
brings us to number 2 for you.
yes, sir. My number 2 is without a doubt Figure of Fable. So this, we were just talking about needing a hybrid card on turn 1, though. This is a green-white hybrid. For a 1/1 Kithkin, you can pay a green-white hybrid to have it become a Kithkin Scout with base PT 2/3. You can pay 3 mana, 2 of it hybrid, to have if this creature is a Scout, it now becomes a Kithkin Soldier with base PT 4/5. And then the fun part, if you pay 6 mana, 3 of it hybrids, if this creature is a Soldier, it becomes a Kithkin Avatar with base power and toughness 7/8 and protection from each of your opponents. What an exciting line of text. This card is $10. This card is 50 cents. Why is it $10? This is a 50 cents bulk rare magic card. Why is it $10? And I know it's pre-release prices, but like there are rares in this set that are pre-ordering for $3. Why is this 10? Can you explain it to me?
I don't think this is 50 cents, but I also don't think it's $10.
Dude, this card is trashola.
I'm not going to say that because, like, again, we were just talking about Bloom Tender. There's a world where these could live in the same deck, right? Even if you're wanting mana just to pay for this, right? Like, that would make a lot of sense. But I do think Kithkin decks are going to want this as well, right? It's a 2 mana 2/3. If nothing else, it happens to be a Kithkin that will work with everything else in the deck, which is fine.
Not even the best Kithkin 1-drop though. We got a Savannah Lions in Kithkin that has like late game purpose. Like,
oh sure, but I do think that you can play those together if you're playing an aggressive Kithkin deck. And
you can, I mean, you need more 1-drops, yeah.
And I do like the fact that it's not, none of this is like pay as a sorcery or whatever. So you can just wait. Your opponent doesn't do anything in their end step. Cool. I'll just turn my guy into a 4/5 or whatever.
That's cute, right? Like a Bant control win condition or something. That could work.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's 50 cents, but I definitely don't think it's $10. This is more of a $2 to $3 card in my eyes that I think it will get played, mostly because people are going to want to play Kithkin and it'll show up on the ladder. I don't think it's going to be a top tier tournament card, most likely. I don't really see that being a thing. I'd love to be wrong because it'd probably be sweet if this was like a top tournament card. But realistically, this is probably something that shows up on the ladder. It'd be fun for Kithkin theme decks. It's a way to use your mana if you're ramping and you don't have anything to spend it on. That's fine. But otherwise, yeah, I think it is a bit overhyped.
Let me put it this way. Actually, I don't know if Scryfall will ever load. There we go. Figure of Destiny is the card this is obviously like based on.
Sure.
Figure of Destiny is, there's a few now. Figure, it was at one point a near sort of legendary card in Magic. Like this is a card with a following, and it still has a following. I think that's why we get cards like this that kind of play off of it, because people remember Figure of Destiny. Figure of Destiny is 37 cents.
Sure.
And I think Figure of Destiny is a better card, all things considered. So I think this card is, I usually don't go this like hard line on cards for the Overrated series, because like, we hedge our bets a little bit and like we never know if we're going to be wrong. This one I will go completely just full bear on. I think this card is just awful. Like,
I will say this though, I would make an argument that it actually is better than Figure of Destiny.
Ooh.
Because like at every stage, right? Figure of Destiny becomes a 2/2. This becomes a 2/3.
Right.
This becomes a 4/4. Becomes a 4/5. This Figure of Destiny gains a bunch of abilities. This becomes a 7/8 protection from your opponents, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's not all color mana, right? You can
all the abilities on Figure are a little harder to get than this one.
So
I shouldn't have said it's.
Those are all small things, but each stage is better overall.
Yeah, I think that you're right. Really, at the end of the day, this new Figure is better than the old one. But I don't think that moves the needle enough to make it a playable card.
No, also remember, Figure of Destiny is also that price because it's been reprinted a bunch of times.
Yeah, I think it's been reprinted like 7 times.
Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of it out in the world. So anybody who needs one, you could just go get a 50-cent one and
cheap
whatever.
Commander printed one. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see where we are on this. I don't think this is playable anywhere. I really don't. I
Oh,
think,
that's
what is
funny.
it?
I think it's playable, but I think it's way overhyped. Like I said, it's about 3 times the value I think it should be.
It's like, I get that you get to play it, you pay it in installments, but it's still like 11 total mana, which is
Well, that's
so
the thing though. I
much.
don't think about it as even hitting the third level or whatever. I'm thinking about it
Yeah.
on level 1 and 2.
All right, like a one drop that becomes a 4/5 later.
Yeah.
But
And
you don't like Moonshadow. You see, I think I'm not trying to like call you out.
oh no, no,
You
I
see, I think that
understand.
Moonshadow is probably better, but Moonshadow you got to jump through hoops, and this you just pay
Exactly.
mana,
This you just
right?
get to play
So,
magic you were already playing, and if I have mana
right,
left over, it becomes a bigger creature.
yeah, I could
Right?
see looking at it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the difference.
It's like, I think the creature we have most close to this in standard is the one drop Kellen that has a couple of
Kind of,
different
yeah.
things you can pay mana. Yeah, and like that guy, he shows up from time to
Yeah, of
time. You
course.
know, so like, maybe could be, could be. But what do you got for your number one?
All right.
It's
This one
exciting.
is Collective Inferno. 3 red,
Ooh,
red. It's an enchantment. It has Convoke. As it enters, you choose a creature type. Double all damage at sources you control a chosen type would deal. My problem here is just, I don't know. This feels like the 5th version of this card we have in standard. Like,
yeah.
there's a billion things that are like double this extra damage, deal this +2, pay, or the one we got in Avatar where you can pay X and then everything deals extra X damage or whatever. I was
Yeah.
like,
And that one has flash, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm like, this is fine. Like, it's like everybody's, but I think people see double damage. Everybody goes like, oh my God, this is
No.
amazing.
On this one, I think people see Convoke and their mind immediately goes free. This is free. And
Ish.
it
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we have so many versions of this card though. Like, not necessarily double, but I mean, hell, we had wasn't there another one that had, oh no, it might have rotated out of standard last time. But
It's hard to keep track. We've
yeah,
got a
but
lot of
we
them.
have
Yeah.
a constantly a stream of this type of card dealing X amount of extra damage. You can, or Ashenil's still in place, so everything deals 4 instead of 1 or
Oh yeah.
whatever, right? We have so much of that I don't even know where this would fit. Is kind of the problem. Like, is this better than the most recent one we got in Avatar? I think it's like Fated Firestorm or something like that. Whatever. Like, is
Something like
is
that. Yeah.
is that is this better than that? Like, I don't know. Like,
I think that there are really only two decks this is supposed to go in, because it cares about creature types.
yes,
So I think it goes in either goblins, some sort of new goblin deck, or it goes in lizards. And in lizards, I feel like, what's his name? Valley Flame Dasher. It's like a
oh
three
yeah,
drop
yeah,
that
yeah,
makes your lizards do more damage. People don't even play that guy.
yeah.
And that guy is probably better than this, you know? Um,
I
the
agree
only
with you there. I would say lizards is probably the best creature thing that, just because there are things that deal damage without having to do extra things, right?
right,
Like you play a land, deal
exactly.
some damage. I played a creature, deal some damage, right? Like that kind of makes sense there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna get at, was that like there aren't a whole lot of creature based decks in standard, creature type based specifically, that have ways of dealing damage outside of combat damage. So I think lizards is correct, but I just think that they probably have a better, cheaper card
Well, yeah,
already that they already don't play. So I don't know about this.
because the other
I really
options
don't.
are like goblins that are already beating you down faster than they need this card anyway, or like the Boros tokens that trigger from whatever. But like, am I going to play that over playing like War Leader's Call or anything like that? That
Right.
just triggers for me making, probably not. Like,
Yeah, these decks that have like, War Leaders Call, Impact Trimmers, it's like they already have a ton of non-creature spells.
yeah,
So are they going to add 4 more non-creature spells
not
to
even
play this?
4. I don't even want to add 2.
Yeah, it
Yeah, like,
depends. There's another one I think is kind of a commander card, because in those like Boros tokens decks in commander, you literally can get this for free most of the time. But it's just in standard, I don't know. I think that there is a world where this costs 2 mana. Tap 3 guys,
sure.
play it. But what people aren't getting is, just like a couple other cards we've already talked about, you basically skip your attack step to play this card. If you want to play it for cheap,
Not
you're
just skip your attack
probably
step,
skipping
you're
your attack.
also shields down.
Shields down. Yep,
In
going
current
down.
standard, that's rough.
Yeah, that could mean you die, right?
Yeah.
Like it could be, it's tempting to be like, okay, I'm goblins. I can tap 3 goblins, play this for 2 mana, get a good attack step in. Your opponent's Ouroboros.
And
you're
then
dead.
even if you did,
Um,
I'm assuming you played small creatures that were 1 or 2 mana to be able to play that cheaply. So you have it, but then what happens? Your opponent just blocks your dudes, and yeah, you deal extra damage to kill their stuff. All right.
I mean, you would have advanced. You would have advanced the game more if you'd have played like almost anything else. Just like a
Yeah,
random
exactly.
creature would advance the game more. So I don't. Yeah, I'm mostly with you. I think this is commander ish for the most part. And even
Oh wait,
then,
actually, I just realized this doesn't even work with a bunch of stuff because it only is when the creatures of the chosen type deal damage.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. It's creature
Yeah.
type,
So
specifically creature
this
types.
doesn't even work unless you're copying like, and we were talking about the Boros tokens deck. That doesn't even work with those unless you're copying, like calling human, I guess, for the
Right,
sharpshooter or
human
something.
soldier. If you have
Yeah,
enough of those, or whatever it is, right?
yeah. So that
So
doesn't even really work.
it is a fairly restricted card. A lot of the cards we've seen that deal a bunch of extra damage or whatever, or
Just
they
any
don't care.
source. Yeah,
They just do not care, right? So
yeah.
that's another way this card is kind of neutered. But you know, creature type stuff care. People love it in Commander. So we'll see. We'll see. But ultimately, I just think like capping dudes down slows you down too much. I also think people have not really talked about what happens when you get blown out. You tap 3 guys down and this gets counterspelled. You're dead. Like you're
Oh no, no.
done,
You
dude.
in current standard, you tap 3 guys down to play this. Your opponent just plays split up, and now you have an enchantment with no dudes.
Yep. Yep. That'll happen. That will happen on Arena all the time.
Yep.
So keep that in mind too. I think that this is a not as good as it looks, but I do think that, we'll try to play it in Commander at least. But you
I
can say
get
that
it.
about a lot of cards.
People see double damage and get excited, but we've seen that on a lot of cards, and I can't even remember the last time one of those was standard reasonable. Not even
Right.
standard playable, just standard reasonable.
Yep.
like,
And I've liked a lot of them. I really wanted like the Roller Crusher ride to be a good card. It
yep, yep.
has not been so far. And, I kind of wanted the Flash one from the Avatar set to be decent. It has not been.
Yeah,
We
that shows
can't
up at least in the firebending decks because you can spend your
some of the
extra
time.
mana,
Right.
like that's a thing, but that's about it.
I have played against that card in Brawl, not in Standard. So yeah, I think that we're getting first of all we're getting a lot of cards in this set, whether it's Convoke or because they come into play with -1/-1 counters, or because they're elementals and they care about the casting cost of an elemental you already have
Sure.
in play. We see a bunch of cards in this set that cost 1,000,000 mana, but not really, or they cost 1 mana for a huge body, but not really. Like Moonshadow, a good example.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how good those cards actually are. Like it all depends on how well balanced these things are. And I think there's a couple where it's not balanced very well, but I think 5 mana is a great balance for this. There's a risk reward to
Oh yeah,
casting it
yeah.
for free or reduced costs. So I think that risk reward actually falls on the side of like it makes the card not as good as it should be.
It's costed the way it needs to cost, so it's not busted.
Right. Exactly. If this card costs 3 mana with Convoke, it would be incredible.
Yeah.
But this is also just one more thing, one of those lessons. And I think that all of these like double damage red enchantments are this lesson lately, that slots in your deck like matter. Like you can't just, okay, I'm playing aggro. This doubles the cost of all of, or doubles the power damage all my creatures do. So it just goes in, man. No, I think 9 times out of 10, you'd be better served with a burn spell or an aggressive, hasty creature or something. And it's those cards teach that lesson to a degree. Don't play a clunky non-creature spell that doesn't actually do anything over, an efficient creature or something like that. And this card, I think, continues to teach that lesson.
All right. Why don't you bring us home with your number one?
My numero uno. This is another card that I'm gonna kind of be hard on. Because I don't get it. Curious Colossus is a card that costs 7 mana. And there's no way to reduce that cost either. It costs 5 and double white for a 7/7 giant warrior. When this creature enters, each creature target opponent controls loses all abilities, becomes a coward in addition to its other types, and has base PT 1/1. So first of all, this card's like almost $20. And we keep saying that about cards, giving the impression that every card in the set's $20, but they're not. Like I said, there are a lot of $3, $4, $5, $6 rares pre-ordering in this set. And this is, I think, right now in the top like 8 most expensive cards in the set. Huh? Like even if Commander's driving that price, it only targets one player. So what are we doing? Why is why is this random just nothing magic card $20? That seems overrated to me. I don't know, man.
I think it is overrated. I think you could ramp into some scenarios where you could play this and it'll be a nuisance for your opponent, especially again, elves. Badger Mole Cub, blah blah, whatever.
Maybe, but
Right?
they still have other guys. Like,
But I'm already going to hate this card anyway because it's just a different version of humility, and humility causes a million rule problems and
yep.
whatever. I think when I did my review, I just told people, hey, go learn how layers work because that's about to be a thing for
Yeah.
you if you've never understood it. Right? So
Yeah, it'll be fun at pre-release.
yeah, not excited. I mean, it is one-sided, which is the only thing that gives it a chance. But I don't. Again, even in Commander, which is probably where this could get played, I just can't imagine a lot of people are even going to want to play it. Right
Yeah.
at the lower to casual tables, which is where this is going to show up because it's not going to have any impact at the upper end.
Well, it
Right?
won't be. It's not a CDH card. No,
Yeah, I don't think people would like playing this card. I think it'd be a thing you play it once or twice. Your table's gonna be like, dude, really? Whatever.
Yeah.
This is just not a fun Magic card. I would expect you could get this for probably half the value in a couple weeks.
I would say even less.
Probably.
This is another one that I think will become a 50 cents card. I really, besides the fact that it is humility and like that's kind of cute, and humility is a very
it's a
expensive
one-sided
card.
humility. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like, that's a
Specifically,
big deal.
right. Humility is everything.
Yeah.
This though, first of all, there's better ways to spend 7 mana. We're talking about 7 mana. A 7 mana card should more or less say you win the game, and this does not say that.
Sort of, but I mean, people still play. What's her name? The original Elish Norn. Right?
Yeah.
Plus for my
which
stuff,
is just better.
Minus for your stuff. I mean, yes
like
and no.
I think that's a point in,
But being able to just turn all your opponent's stuff off is still really good.
Yeah.
Like if you just have 1/1s versus having half your stuff because your little stuff died, but they still do what they're supposed to do, like those are almost equal.
It's like, okay, if you played both of them together, like this and Elish, you would probably kill most of your opponent's creatures. All of them.
Well, you just kill all your opponent's creatures.
I was going to say, you literally kill all of them.
Yeah.
The 14 total mana, you could have just played a Wrath. You know what this reminds me of?
But you get to keep your stuff.
True.
Yeah,
true.
That's the difference.
This reminds me a lot of Realm Cloak Giant, a card that I think a lot of people have forgotten. It was in the original Throne of Eldraine. It cost 7 mana
giant, though, right?
For a 7/7. I don't think Standard really played that Giant. I played it on Arena, but I don't think that card was big in Standard at all. And I think the adventure half of that is destroy all non-giant creatures.
Yeah, that card definitely got played for sure.
That card, no,
it did.
In like real Standard.
Yes,
real
it
Standard,
did because people played it as a Wrath, basically.
I don't remember that.
100%.
I'm gonna have to go to the tape on that one. Maybe on Arena sometimes, but in like MTGO, big boy, we are going to tournaments with decks. Realm Cloak Giants on no play. Absolutely.
All right. I'm just saying, I saw it played, even going to FNMs and stuff. Like people played it as a Wrath.
Well, at FNMs, yeah, maybe at FNMs.
I'm saying,
yeah, I'm talking about
real,
actual
that's
Standard.
Still real Magic for a lot of people, right? Like you play it as a Wrath in your control deck. Later in the game, you have a 7/7.
If that's the case, if cards like seeing play at random FNMs is like, you can say that the card saw play in Standard, then every card sees play in Standard.
I don't think that's necessarily. I'm
talking about
competitive, even at competitive FNMs. Like
I'm talking about cards that actually like, did well at RCQs and like real tournaments, and even I'll even say like MTGO challenges, and like maybe this card showed up in a challenge deck a couple of times, but Realm, come on.
All right, I'm just telling you, I saw it played more than you think. Honestly, I
saw it played on the Arena. I did see it play in the Arena.
People in the comments are going to say the same thing. That they saw
because people because people live, people have life experiences that like, oh, maybe they saw it at FNM, maybe they saw it on the Arena. But again, I contend that as far as like actual big boy, like the best decks in Standard, this never even touched, not even close.
Okay,
like,
well, I'm just going to be on an island by myself then. I'm okay with that. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry.
Okay with that. I'm not
trying to like.
I will set up a hut on my island. I am okay.
I mean, I'll come visit. We can like play Magic. I'll bring you food. I will still be friends. I honestly, to be honest, in this day and age, I like debating about Magic cards because at least we're not debating about the horrible things. But like this, I will say, curious Colossus. I really want to know what everyone thinks about Realm Cloaks. But in any case, Curious Colossus, I think, is not as good as a lot of just straight up Wrath effects would be. I get that it's one-sided. Yeah. I understand that. And unlike Realm Cloak Giant, Well, Realm Clay Giant like technically costs 12 mana to get both modes. This only costs 7, right? So like I see some of the upsides, but at the end of the day, this card costs so much mana. If you're gonna cheat it into play by ramping or reanimating, I just feel like there's 1,000 better things to do with it. I almost think that Wizards knows that this is humility and does cause a million rules problems, and they're just banking on the fact that it costs way too much to ever actually play the card for them to have to deal with that. You know what I mean? That's just me. I don't. I think this card
Actually, you know how I know
bad.
Realmcloak Giant got played a lot? Because
How?
I remember the animation on Arena.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Arena is not the same thing as like best of 3 MTGO
Sure, but
and
let's be
higher.
honest though.
You
There's a
know,
bunch of cards that we will say are still bad because they
yeah,
just don't even show up on Arena.
that's fair.
You know what I
But
mean?
like, I mean, I've already said that. Like, I've seen the card on Arena too, and like I played the card on Arena, but Arena, much like Twitter, is not real life. And like, if you were going to a big event at the time, I do not see sleeving up Realm Cloak. Like, it's not one of the cards that
Sure, but
made
it's
up
also why
the
we have to
meta.
talk
You
about
know,
that in terms of there are people in every game that will never play competitively, right? But their
yeah.
experience will be online, and that's what they're going to see.
This is a whole conversation. We
It
have to do a
is.
whole video on
Yeah,
this. We have to do a whole
yeah.
video on this because we'll spend the next 30 minutes on this. I just think that that's ooh, like if you add F and M and Arena and best of one on Arena and blah, 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 like you basically like 75% of cards are playable and standard
Oh,
under
I
those.
disagree. I think it's
You
still
know,
like 30%. But
I don't know, man.
I think it's
I
still a much
see.
smaller number. But
I don't know. I see a lot of cards every year or every season on Arena that have no business being played on Arena. So I don't know,
sure,
man.
but I'm
I'm
but I'm
playing
not
half
talking
of them.
I'm not talking about ever seen though. I'm talking about seen enough that you can say
Yeah,
like, okay, this is a card people play, right? That's what I was saying
that's
about the
fair.
Realm Cloak Giant because I remember that animation that would come
Me
across with
too.
the big hand and like which was creepy the first time you see it because you're
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
You
Yeah.
don't know what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the animation too, and I will say the card was Arena played. I'll give you that. But I imagine what's funny is we haven't really talked much about Colossus. Now the whole conversation is about Realm Cloak Giant.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know what
But
you
but the
guys in
thing
the comment section feel about that.
the thing about the Colossus again is I think it's fine in a commander setting just to turn all your opponent's stuff off. I don't think many people will play it because it's not going to be fun. I think
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
self-select a lot. But if you have a way to trick it into play or something or whatever, then it's probably pretty good. Now,
But
in
I like that. I
standard
like
though,
my thing is it's not good, and your thing is it's not that it's not good, it's not fun. And I
yeah.
think that's a good reason to not like the card too.
But I
Yeah.
will say in standard, I just don't think it's going to get a lot of play because I agree to the point that you're probably going to want just to get rid of your opponent's stuff. Right? Like that's just going to be better more often than not. Unless there's some weird deck that happens to play creatures and generates enough mana that you're like, okay, well, I'll get the 7/7 and just shrink all your stuff.
You're
Which,
like, I guess Badger Mole, but against Badger Mole, Badger Mole's already done its job by the time he can play this card.
yeah, even
Like
if you're
maybe as a
playing Badger Mole,
sideboard
you just
piece.
for 7 mana, you just find a way to get one more in Crater Hoof.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
know what? Exactly. What's actually cute is I could see this being in the sideboard of Badger Mole decks against other Badger Mole decks. It's like, if you ramp into this, and you can just neuter their entire team, then like maybe there's something in that. But I don't think so.
Yeah,
Ultimately,
maybe. I guess.
you know. But if anything, that sounds like a sideboard card to me, right? And even then, not a very played one. So I don't see it. It's me, man. Really interesting conversation though there about not just Realm Cloak Giant, but like what does it mean for a card to have seen play in standard? You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, and again, maybe we'll touch on that in a whole video one day because that's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
for now, that is, I believe, all of our various overrated cards. We had a lot to talk about in this one, man.
Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, this set's still going to have a lot to talk about. And again, I think there's a lot of stuff that we can't properly evaluate. Like we're just
yeah,
guessing because not just standard being different, but everything within Lorwyn Eclipse itself is going to function differently with each other. So we'll see how we feel in another couple months.
yeah, yeah. We'll come back and talk about it.
Mhm.
Like we always do. And for what it's worth, in the next few days, we should be releasing our video asking whether we were right or not about the Avatar stuff, both the over and underrated. So
Yep.
make sure you subscribe to the channel, both of our channels, as a matter of fact, hit the bell for notifications to make sure that you get those videos when they come out, because I think that, as usual, we were right about some things and wrong about some things, which is the more entertaining thing some of
Yeah,
the
I
time
have an
about those
even better
videos.
teaser here. So go over to PowrDragn, PowrDragn, because I have also finally, I had to jump through some hoops and get a hold of the right people. I am in the process of scheduling an interview with the arena devs to dispel all the arena rumors and all the things you think you know about
Ooh,
arena or not. So
that's right.
we'll record that, I think, in a couple of weeks, because the next couple weeks are kind of busy, obviously, with Lorwyn releasing and, early access and all that. But we'll get that up hopefully pretty soon. And that'll be a fun video, I think, for everybody.
There's an episode of there's an episode of King of the Hill where at one point Dale says, oh, you got to get the facts about smoking straight from the horse's mouth, the tobacco industry.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes it, I think that's what but I'm very interested in that, actually
Yeah.
talking to
Well, you get
arena
them,
devs about the
right or
stuff.
wrong, you get them on the record.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah. But that actually is amazing. I don't know how many YouTubers could sway that. So good job.
I think people could. You just have to be persistent.
Right. So yeah, I'm going to be watching that. Go over to PowrDragn's channel. Check that out. Good Lord. Yeah. You should get some engagement on that one, big
Hope
boy.
so.
That's going to be
We'll
nice.
see.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm very interested. But apart from that, we got a lot of stuff going on our various channels here. It's the beginning of the season, which means we've got lists to do, decks to do, early access for the dude over here. So make sure you check him out on Wednesday, playing some new stuff on Twitch. And apart from that, anything else you got down the pipeline you want to talk to us about?
That's it, man. Just people remember to have fun. That's the biggest thing. You're gaming. Have fun with your gaming.
Have fun. And Lorwyn looks like a really fun set. You might be able to argue that it might not be the most competitively viable set. I don't think we know that for a fact yet, but I will say that this looks like an incredibly fun set to play Magic cards with, which is all I really want in the first place. So I think they kind of knocked it out of the park in some ways with it. But anyway, y'all, I am Dev from The Place. Make sure you do all the YouTube stuff on your way out. Hit the button shaped like a thumb. It's pretty easy to see down there. Hard to miss. You can hype the video. You can tip here on YouTube, or you can check out the Patreon, just $1 a month to support the content and vote on what we do once we hit Lorwyn Eclipsed. But apart from that, just go check out PowrDragn's channel, subscribe to him, and watch his videos, and we will catch you cats later. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love and be kind.